Morning, everybody. Day two. Patrick's bleary-eyed. It must be day two of Windor. Welcome. Lots of good sessions today. So hopefully you're not traveling too early and you can stick around and hear us. So first things first, I'm Terry Adamson. I'm Tech Director with Fenestration Canada. I'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, Quanex, Sherwin-Williams, who we're going to hear from shortly, Pref ERP, SRS Windows, DeKunik Extrusions, and of course the Top Glass Conference, April 30th, 2024, year 10. Yes. Year 10. That's great. Fantastic. Okay, so our first session up today is Coatings, Colors, and Climate Change with Sherwin-Williams. Ken Rieke, right, Ken?
Yes, sir.
Ken joined Sherwin-Williams 2009, started his coating career in the chemical coating division, Fort Worth, Texas. He's held various PCG facility management and sales positions throughout Western Canada. And Maria, I don't say that, don't I? Let's get it wrong. Maria Jasminez. Yeah. Yeah. Business Development Manager of Building Products. Maria brings 27 years of experience supporting the building product space, focused on substrates, coatings, and automation for windows, doors, and OEMs. So I'll take it away.
Thank you for that introduction, Terry. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending this session titled Coatings, Colors, and Climate Change. I want to start the presentation by saying thank you to Fenestration Canada for putting these sessions together. We feel that these education sessions bring value to those who are in attendance. And if there's a topic of interest to you, please let us know so we can put that on the docket for next year. So let's get right into coatings, colors, and climate change. Is my voice okay? Good tone? Okay. So as presenters, it's important for the audience to know who we are. Sherwin-Williams was established in 1866. By 1893, we entered the Canadian market, and we are proud to be celebrating 130 years of making paint in Canada. We continue to serve the Canadian market in the building materials space.
Here we go.
Okay. Sherwin-Williams operates on a global scale. In North America, our global headquarters are located in Cleveland, and with over 50 plus manufacturing and distribution facilities, plus over 4,500 company-wide operated stores. In Europe, we have manufacturing and distribution facilities across the continent with over 20 branches and facilities. In South America, that number grows to 22 branches. And in Asia, with our global supply chain, consumer brands, and performance coating facilities, we're located in India, China, the Philippines, and Singapore, and more, with more docketed in the future. Across Canada, we have several locations to effectively serve our customers. And with that, let's get to know Sherwin-Williams by segment. Ken?
So quick poll from the field here. Who associates Sherwin-Williams with house paint?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. So I think it's important to kind of go.
Pull the mic in a bit closer.
I think it's important to kind of go through our structure a little bit because we've changed a lot in the last, I would say, 10 years. I think that's important for you as manufacturers to understand how committed we are to the manufacturing space and kind of what we're doing in that space. So Sherwin-Williams is really broken up into three primary divisions. We have while we recently changed this, it was called the Americas Group, but the Paint Stores Group, and that's what you know and love, you know, your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store, right? And then we have our Performance Coatings Group, which we'll dive a little bit deeper into in just a minute, and then our Consumer Brands Group, which is everything that doesn't have a Sherwin-Williams label on it, right? It's GeoCell, it's Minwax and Purdy and all those brands that you know, but maybe don't associate with Sherwin-Williams, right?
Protective marine.
Yeah, go into the next slide if you would.
Wrong way here. Trying to do two things at once here.
Back. Sorry. I think you're going forward and you're meaning to go backwards.
No, we just went over that. Ah. Huh.
Sorry. Anyway, so inside of Performance Coatings Group, we're broken up into several divisions. We work for what's called general industrial. So our specialty is manufacturers like yourself, predominantly metal and plastic substrates is what we focus on. And then we also have a wood division that focuses on wood substrates, right? The point being, I think this is important for you to understand is, window and door manufacturers is, we have solutions and expertise across all substrates that you might be covering, right? You find your way?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope, we want to go into. Go. This one. We just go into that.
Okay.
Yep.
That one?
Yep.
Okay. So, as far as coatings are concerned, I mean, I'm curious. I live in the States. I'm curious to understand how important the AMA specifications are to all of you. I mean, is that high on the list of priority? Is it nice to have, but not critical? The FGIA certifications, AMA certifications?
By raise of hands, is AMA important to this group when it comes to specifications?
Yes and no, somewhat. Okay. We've worked really hard over the past several years to kind of flesh out our product matrix as it compares to the AMA specs. In the vinyl and fiberglass world, we've got some pretty interesting stuff happening in the 1K urethane. Many of you know we acquired AquaSureTech within the past couple of years. We're learning a lot from that technology and growing in that space. So we're investing a lot of time and effort in improving those coatings. And then we've recently developed a 2K waterborne fluoropolymer, which is a full-blown AMA 2605 coating. Meets the weather and durability of AMA 2605. It's a really interesting coating. I think we've hit it out of the park with it as far as application characteristics and things like that. And then additionally, we're really growing in the aluminum world. One of our sister divisions, Coil and Extrusion, they manufacture the Fluoroplon line of products. And then we're looking into an air dry fluoropolymer system as well for aluminum. And in my mind, that's kind of like the one coating to coat all things, right? If you have an air dry system that doesn't need high heat, what can that do for your business from a production throughput standpoint, and then energy consumption standpoint, right? If you can lower your total energy footprint, that's good for everybody, right? So lots of interesting stuff going on. And now Maria will talk a little bit about color.
Colors.
Next slide.
Okay. The only time I feel alive is when I'm painting. Famous Lines by Vincent van Gogh. Now that we have a better understanding of what types of coatings are available in this space, let's introduce a bit of color. So we'll start with color trends in the building material space, and then we can talk about the importance of colors and pigments as a segue into climate change. So when we think about color trends in forecasting, like where do we even begin? Typically and historically, the manufacturers decided that for us, and our choices were somewhat limited. We had to choose between the RAL, the Buckner, the Gentech, the Kaycan color decks. You would think with all of those thousands of colors that would be enough for the homeowner or the decision maker. Unfortunately, it's not. You introduce social media, you've got Pinterest, you've got Instagram, you've got home and garden. The choices are endless, and the consumer wants to tap in onto trending what's trending today. Funny story, I had a customer who asked me to color match purple grape for their front door. And yes, it looked like Grimace from McDonald's, purple grape. So if you're in this room, I apologize. We did it. It looked pretty, not my style, but we did it. So I can't speak for the rest of the painting companies out there, but at Sherwin-Williams, we have what we call the design house team. And that is what they do all day, all night. Color, color, color. They're looking at color of the day, color of the month, color of the year, color forecasting. So they review the past trends and they look at the forward as well. So with that, we have a quick video just to highlight what Design House does for Sherwin-Williams and our customers.
Boom.
Double click.
I don't know if I'm getting the audio though.
You had yourself a meat griller. Great. So essentially, the design house team will meet with your team from conception to paint. They'll work with you to determine where your business is at, where you want to be in terms of color space, and actually get it to paint to market. And that could also include print materials and brochures for your marketing side of the business. So moving on to color trends, you're in for a little treat today because we're going to present a sneak peek into what we call a lookbook of the 2024 Color Trend Report by Sherwin-Williams. So number one, we're calling this the convergence of blues and greens. The intent here is to keep you outdoors, but then to enjoy your space outdoors. So during the last few years, during COVID, how many of you are guilty of throwing thousands of dollars? Let me rephrase that. How many are guilty of your spouses throwing thousands of dollars into the design of your backyard, whether that's outdoor patios and decks, you name it? Definitely guilty right here. So the outdoor living boom continues. So from covered porches to decked out patios, outdoor environments, it lets people personalize how they grow. As these living spaces become more valuable, designing with blues and greens can help blur the lines where the indoor ends and the outdoor begins. So you'll notice here that the windows that are painted are white, but the complementary colors are in shades of blues and greens. So it's a very soft palette. Moving on to the next color trend, we're calling this the poetry of reds and purples. As we grow, multifamily residences are growing as well. So multifamilies are incorporating flexible and adaptable spaces to meet the diverse needs of its residents. Enhancing common areas like the outdoor lounges, those have become big, I mean, in the last few years. Game rooms, co-working spaces, stimulating reds and steady purples can foster a sense of community and encouragement. So here the windows are painted black and the complementary colors are in shades of reds and purple. Number 3 trend, a gathering of deeps and darks. And this is actually my personal favorite space. It's very grounding and very earthing and very drawn to nature. So these dark hues shake up the traditional concept of sanctuary, evoking feelings of comfort and coziness. In an era where well-being is so important, it grows important every single day. These key colors can craft environments that provide a sense of refuge, calm. Again, we're trending with the black windows. Black windows are here to stay, no matter what you say. They're here to stay. Actually, it's going to be interior and exterior, in and out black. That's the new trend coming. We're seeing that. So notice in this picture, again, the windows are black with complementary colors of deeps and darks. Number 4, a study in delicate tints. So there's a common theme here, and that is bringing the indoor outdoor. Very calming colors. Indoor and outdoor wellness amenities are trending. Again, here the windows are black with more of a neutral palette of delicate tints. Color continues to play a crucial role in shaping spaces. It remains a common thread for creating meaningful designs that leave impression. From atmosphere to ambience to brand identity and beyond, color is the foundation for everything. If you'd like a copy of this 2024 Color Trends Report, please stop by our booth, number 709, and we can get you connected with that. Along with all these other color trends and design videos, we can give you access to that as well. And if you're more interested in the design house team element, come and see us in our booth. We can talk about that as well. So Ken, how do we tie in coatings, colors, and climate change?
So, did you know that in North America, we make up 40% of the global demand for green products, and that figure's only growing, right? So, as you think about the products that you're manufacturing, having a sense of green building materials, et cetera, is really important. And while Sherwin-Williams offers unlimited colors, green is quickly becoming our favorite. As a global leader in coatings, we aim to set the bar for the industry, and that's a responsibility that we take quite seriously. When you design with sustainability in mind, it's crucial to use products and suppliers that offer you the resources and solutions to be able to help you in your journey to become more green. And by partnering with the right supplier, you can achieve that goal. As a company, our 2030 goals span the priority areas of our environmental footprint, which include climate, energy, waste, and emissions. These goals benchmark against our 2019 baseline. So we took 2019 and we're going from there. So, 4 of our major corporate goals, we want to reduce absolute scope 1 and scope 2 greenhouse gas emissions by 30%. Scope 1 is, direct emissions, right? Like things that we have control over. Scope 2 would be indirect emissions. We want to increase electricity from renewable sources to 50% of our total usage. And then we want to increase our operational energy efficiency by 20%. And reduce our waste disposal by 25%. So we're really pushing into this pretty heavily as a company. And then, a part of that is how do we incorporate these, replenishable and recycled materials into our products? Again, we want to decrease energy consumption. We want to offer material transparency. We want to use biorenewable materials, which we'll talk about a little bit. And then naturally, we want to increase durability, not decrease, right? It doesn't do us any good if we're going backwards on the durability piece. Sherwin-Williams was the first to use biorenewable materials in our final products. And we're the first to use a biorenewable polyester resin system for both interior and exterior coil applications. And then we've also got a really cool product called Powdera Eco, where we're utilizing a recycled PET as part of the polyester resin. So water bottles are going back into the powder coating to be utilized again. So doing a lot of neat stuff in that space. So I think this part of the conversation is really critical to what you all are doing on a day-to-day basis. You know, what we're seeing as things warm is, you know, we've got to look for ways to passively cool things down, right? What we want to do, sorry, excuse me. So this image here, you know, kind of gives a pretty good example of what's happening on a house, right? The house is absorbing thermal energy, and the coatings that are utilized can either, you know, absorb or they can reflect that energy, right? And I think it's really important that we aid, you know, the coatings that you use are aiding in the reflection of that thermal energy so that there's not, you know, you're not creating a heat island around the home. So a couple of ways that we do that, we're really using a lot of solar reflective pigments. Has anybody heard that term before, solar reflective pigment? Okay. The big thing about solar reflective pigments is they're an iron oxide based pigment as opposed to like a synthetic or an organic pigment. And not only does it allow that pigment to not break down over time, but it also reflects the heat, right? And we do a lot of testing on that. We do a lot of heat buildup and solar reflective testing to prove that out over time.
So we actually have a very quick little demonstration to show you just some, you know, physical characters of heat buildup when it comes to coatings and substrate. So I'm going to have to go off mic and just speak over there. But could I get 2 volunteers? Oh.
Come on, don't be shy. 2 volunteers.
Like 2 volunteers, please.
Rich, I knew I could count.
There we are. Okay.
Come on, come on.
One more. There we go. Thank you. Come on now. All right, so we have 4 substrates coated here. They're all coated with water-based coatings. They're all a 1-case system. They're all the same prep. So for all intents and purposes, we're starting even. So I would like you, please, to take a temperature of all 4 substrates. All 4, and read them out to the crowd, please.
64.2. Oh, I missed it.
Even? 64 even?
Yeah. Third one.
63.9. And 63.9. So we can all say that we're starting pretty even here. So I'm just going to introduce some heat energy here. Trying to keep it consistent against all 4 boards. In about 10-15 seconds, we'll start to see some smoke happening, and then we'll take the exit temperatures. I see some smoke. So if I could ask you to take some temperatures, please. They click off. 107.8. Click it again. 120.9. 184. Click it again. and 92. That one cooled down quite a bit, actually. So all of these products across the board are claiming that they do have solar reflective pigments. But if you can physically feel, hear, and smell the difference, we do know that that might not be the case in some. So I guess the intent here is that with all of the products that are available out there, it's up to you to do your due diligence, to ask the questions, to ask for the reports, to hold your suppliers accountable and know that things like this can exist. And if you don't, there's a lot of pitches out there. It's such an easy experiment for you to do in your own factory. Take a white piece that hasn't been painted, paint it up black, ask for different samples, paint them all black, and do this exercise yourself. This is the first step of just kind of gaining that commitment and knowing what you're really putting on your product. So thank you.
And they're offering tanning at the Sherwin-Williams booth later on this afternoon. So
Okay. So I think there we are, VOCs.
Yeah, I would just say, as if you're working in the vinyl world, I think the importance of that test can't be overstated, right? I mean, the thermal deformation of vinyl is 160F. I don't know what it is in Celsius. Right. So you have a fairly limited window there where, depending on it, if you've got a south facing window and it's absorbing a lot of sunlight, and that coating isn't doing its job of helping keep that vinyl cool, right? You're at a pretty high risk of that vinyl deforming over time, right? I mean, there's a pretty small window there. So, just know that's the purpose of the coating. We want to help keep the window cool just as much as we want to help, keep it looking good for a long time. So. And then, kind of the last comment about climate change is about VOCs or volatile organic compounds. We're working really hard. There's a pretty significant trend in the industry to see VOCs reduced over time. In 2022, the Environment and Climate Change Canada published the VOC concentration limits. And so you're starting to see also in Canada, these VOC laws come through. And when it comes to technology or the coatings, how does one contribute? You can ensure your product is using the lowest amount of VOCs possible. And then, naturally the VOCs need to be reported on the SDSs. If you're not looking into that, I would just highly encourage you to look into what's your total VOC footprint? If climate change or energy consumption is concerning to you, it's something to explore.
Okay. So in summary, incorporating best practices in using quality materials has been part of our coatings and cultural innovation for the last 150 years. Today, those same values remain at the center of everything that we do. Sherwin-Williams Coatings believes in the importance of good stewardship for our planet. We are leading the way by creating sustainable products and manufacturing processes to ensure a better, cleaner tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Open the floor to any questions.
questions? Anybody? Can you come up to the mic for me, please?
Marco.
Right up here. No, microphone right here.
Hello.
Yeah,
Marco Padaman with Continental Exterior Laminate. So I just have a question regarding the demonstration which has been done. So this was 4 different color samples heated up with a direct radiant heat source, but the sunlight itself usually heats a surface up with indirect heating depending on the certain nanometer spectrum of the sunlight. Usually a lamp like that doesn't demonstrate the same nanometer spectrum which heats up the infrared radiation, which heats up the surface. So The more proper test to do this is actually the ASTM 4803 heat buildup test, or actually the latest technology was being used nowadays is the TSR value. So with the TSR value, you can calculate any heat buildup, or the ASTM 4803, which is a little bit more challenging to do in a field operation, but this reflects the right nanospectrum of the sunlight.
Yeah, absolutely. And the HBU TSR tests are something we would do in the lab, 100%. It's just an easy way to show that.
But it's not the right nanometer spectrum.
But the point's made.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
One time better on the certification.
Do you guys have like LCA documents, life cycle analysis documents you can provide with your stuff? Because everyone's going to get worried about embodied carbon and and they're going to be asked to show documentation for all the stuff you were talking about, where you're reducing your energy inputs and your carbon inputs. And do you have documentation for the
Absolutely.
products?
Absolutely. We've
Yeah,
got printed brochures too. Yeah. Yeah, everything that we've spoken here has already gone through our regulation. Sherwin-Williams takes regulations very seriously. So nothing that we can speak about, everything that we speak about has to be approved.
Anybody else? Everybody in this room is probably coating their products and nobody has a question about things that might be concerning or challenging or no? All right. Well,
Okay.
thank you very much, guys. A little bit early and that's fine. Everybody can use a bit of a break, maybe grab another coffee. 20 minutes or so, we're going to have Juliette Cook from Half Climate Design giving us a session on embodied carbon. You don't want to miss that one.
Thank you.